Well, I am experimenting with barrels here. I found a source for these 30-gallon poly barrels with the snap type lid, and they fit really tight. And the guy told me he had about 20 to 25 of them, and I drove to Wisconsin. He was going to charge me 15 bucks a piece. He ended up having 31 of them by the time I got there. I offered him 400 bucks for all of them, and he took it. So I got 31 barrels. It's going to last me a long time, and I hope they work out really well. The nice thing about these barrels is the size of them. They're light, and I think they're like 12 pounds. So, you know, I'm going to be backpacking some of these barrels into the backcountry, I guess. You know, we're actually going to be able to drive four-wheelers probably within 200 to 400 yards of most of our baits. But we're going to be carrying these in, so it's important that it's light. And I've tried a couple things. You know, I live in an area where there's lots and lots of bears, so it's really easy for me to experiment. So when I got the barrels, my theory was I would cut a hole in the bottom here, as you can see, and so the theory was that, you know, the bears wouldn't really harass the barrels, tear them off the tree, and mess with them too much if they could get their paw all the way up in there and reach all the bait. Well, that hasn't worked out very well. I put one barrel out behind the house. I put some trail mix and pastries in it, not very much, but you know, less than half full. The first night, two different bears came, and they kind of scratched around in there a little bit. They ate some. My system with this hole was, I got to back up here a little bit and explain to you. In fact, let me just grab the camera here and show you this barrel okay, this is the barrel that I use, and so I thought I could use these ratchet straps, and I put these stainless steel fasteners on there, and as you can see, that is a claw mark. Just look at how far they dug in with it. You couldn't hardly do that with a pocket knife. There's another claw mark. So that's what it looked like, and as I mentioned, the first night they ate some of the bait, and I thought, well, they spun the barrel around the tree a little bit. I thought, well, that won't be too bad. The second night, the bigger of the two bears came, and he roughed up the barrel pretty good, and he broke one of these stainless steel strap holders off, twisted the barrel on his side. The third night he came back and he just wrecked the whole works. I mean, he tore the lid off and just tore the whole barrel off the tree. And for some, I don't know why, because he could just easily reach his paw in there and scoop the food out. So I decided to get away from the ratchet straps. And so today what I did was I took a bunch of these barrels and I put 8 foot of chain on the top and 8 foot on the bottom, so that, and they're bolted on. They got bolts around here, and then so there's enough room that I can fasten them to a tree with lag screws, and that adds quite a bit of weight to them, but it's going to make it a lot sturdier. I'm also going to experiment by keeping the bottom of the barrel up off the ground a little ways, and so maybe it'll be a little more closer to head height, and they won't wreck them like you just saw. These have a really tight fitting lid, and they also have a snap type holder on there. These barrels were full of nacho cheese, and some of them you take the top off and you go, oh, that one's got jalapeno in it. So I had to rinse most of them out and so forth. But like I said, this is my new system, and I'm going to experiment. This is what I'm taking to Wyoming with me here in a week, and so we'll learn more about it. I'll fill you in on how well it worked, and then when I try these here, you know, in the northern boreal forest where the bears are pretty aggressive at the baits, then we'll just see how well it holds up. I have a sense that because most of the areas we're going to be baiting in Wyoming are a little more open, that the bears won't be quite so aggressive around the baits. They'll probably just more want to feed and move on. But so I'm taking 6 of these to Wyoming with me. We'll see what happens, and like I said, I'll I'll fill you in and let you know how it's working out, and I'm going to try to perfect this system so I can use it in my guiding up in northern Minnesota. That's why I got 31 barrels. If I can get a really good system now, they just made it legal to use barrels on public land in Minnesota, and I do intend to use them because they definitely are a huge advantage in keeping your bait out of the weather and so forth. So we'll talk again shortly.